Captain Lee Dae-ho stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, watching the stars through the large window. The ship moved quietly through space, far from Earth and any other human worlds. His crew had been mapping new star systems for 3 months. Now, it was peaceful work, but sometimes boring. "Captain, we're getting something strange," said Dr. Park Soo-jin from her station. She was the ship's expert on talking to aliens, though they had never met any real ones. Her fingers moved quickly over her computer screen. "It looks like a signal, but not from any human ship." Dae-ho walked over to her station. "Show me what you found." The screen showed waves of sound and light patterns. They moved in ways that seemed almost like music, but not quite right. Soo-jin had been studying these patterns for an hour now. "I think someone is trying to talk to us," she said. "But they're not human. The patterns are too different, too complex in some ways, too simple in others." Lieutenant Kim Tae-woo looked up from the security station. He was a big man who used to be a soldier before joining the space service. "Could it be dangerous? Maybe a trap?" Soo-jin shook her head. "I don't think so. Listen to this." She played the sound through the ship's speakers. It was beautiful but also sad, like someone crying for help in a language made of music. "That sounds like someone asking for help," said engineer Choi Min-ha from the back of the bridge. She was young but very smart with machines and computers. "Can we understand what they're saying?" "I'm working on it," Soo-jin said. "Give me a few more hours." Dae-ho nodded and went back to his captain's chair. First contact with aliens was something every space captain dreamed about, but also feared. Earth had been sending ships to the stars for 50 years, but they had never found any sign of other intelligent life. Now maybe that was about to change. Hours passed. The bridge crew worked quietly while Soo-jin tried to decode the alien message. Sometimes she would play parts of it, and each time it sounded more desperate, more afraid. "Captain," Soo-jin said finally, "I think I've got some of it. The computer is starting to understand their language. It's not complete, but I can get the main idea." "Tell me," Dae-ho said. Soo-jin's face was serious. "They call themselves the Villani. They live on a planet they call Villanos Prime. Someone is attacking them. Someone called the Korthak Empire. The Villani are asking for help from anyone who can hear them." The bridge went quiet. Everyone stared at Soo-jin. "They're being attacked?" Tae-woo asked. "By who?" "The Korthak," they said. "I think it's another alien race. The Villani say the Korthak have big ships and many weapons. The Villani don't seem to have any way to fight back." Choi Min-ha stood up. "We have to help them." "Hold on," Dae-ho said. "We don't know anything about this. We don't know who these aliens are. We don't know if we can trust them. And we definitely don't know if we can fight this Korthak Empire." "But Captain," Soo-jin said, "listen to this part." She played another section of the message. Even without understanding the words, everyone could hear the fear and sadness in the alien voices. "These people are going to die if no one helps them." Dae-ho thought about Earth Command's orders. They were supposed to map star systems and avoid any dangerous situations. Getting involved in an alien war was definitely dangerous. But he also thought about his duty as a human being. "How far away are they?" he asked. "About 6 days at maximum." "Speed," Choi Min-ha said, checking her navigation computer. "And what do we know about human military strength compared to these aliens?" Tae-woo pulled up files on his computer. "We have no idea, sir. We've never fought aliens before. Our weapons are designed for fighting other humans or defending against asteroids and space debris." "The message says something else," Soo-jin added quietly. "The Villani have sent this call for help to many different directions in space. They're hoping someone somewhere will hear them and come. We might be their only hope." Dae-ho looked around at his crew. These were good people, smart people, people who had joined the space service to explore and help make the universe a better place. He thought about the scared voices in the alien message. "Sir, came a voice from the communication station. "I'm getting a message from Earth Command. They want to know why we stopped moving and why we're broadcasting strange signals." Daeho realized that Sujin's attempts to decode the alien message had been sending signals back toward Earth. Soon, Earth Command would want answers. He made his decision. "Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we've made first contact with an alien species that needs help. Tell them we're going to investigate." "Captain," Taewoo said carefully, "Earth Command is going to order us to come home. They won't want us getting involved in alien wars." "Then we'd better leave before they can send that order," Daeho said. "Minha, set course for Velanos Prime. Maximum speed." "Yes, sir," Minha said with a smile. "Sujin, keep working on translating their language. When we get there, we need to be able to talk to them." "Already on it, Captain." "Taewoo, prepare the security teams. I want everyone ready for anything." "Understood, sir." As the Resilience turned toward the unknown, Daeho looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, people were dying. People who had asked for help from anyone who would listen. Maybe humans couldn't save them. Maybe this would end badly for everyone. But he knew one thing for certain. They had to try. That's what humans did. When someone called for help, humans answered. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying 37 humans toward their first contact with alien life. None of them knew that they were about to change the galaxy forever. 6 days later, the Resilience dropped out of faster-than-light speed at the edge of the Velanos system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go silent. Huge alien ships surrounded a blue-green planet. The ships were dark and covered in weapons. They were firing red beams down at the planet's surface, and explosions of light showed where the beams hit. "My God," whispered Dr. Park Soo-jin. "They're bombing the planet." Captain Lee Daeho stared at the scene. There had to be at least 50 alien warships attacking the world below. His own ship was tiny compared to them. "Captain," said Lieutenant Yoon Jae-sung from the tactical station, "I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. Their weapons are much more powerful than ours." "And there are so many of them," added Lieutenant Kim Tae-woo. "Even if our weapons could hurt them, we're completely outnumbered." Before Daeho could respond, the ship's communication system came alive with alien voices. But this time, the sounds were different from the plea for help they had received. These voices were rough and angry. "Unknown vessel," came a translated voice through the computer. "You will identify yourself immediately or be destroyed." Sujin worked quickly at her station. "Captain, that's not the same language as the distress signal. This must be the Korthak Empire." "Can you respond to them?" Daeho asked. "I think so. The computer is learning fast." Daeho took a deep breath. "Tell them we are humans from the planet Earth. We received a distress signal and came to help." Sujin translated and sent the message. The response came back quickly. "Humans, we do not know this species. You will leave this system immediately. This is Korthak territory now." "Tell them we want to speak with the Velani," Daeho said. There was a long pause before the aliens responded. "The Velani are our property now. You have no business here. Leave, or we will destroy your small ship." Suddenly another voice came through the communicator. This one was softer, more musical, like the original distress signal. "Please," the new voice said in broken human language, "are you the ones who heard our call? Are you here to help us?" Sujin's eyes went wide. "Captain, I think that's coming from the planet's surface. The Velani have learned some of our language from our broadcasts." "We hear you," Daeho said into the communicator. "We are here to help if we can." The Korthak voice came back, angry now. "Enough! You will leave now, or face the consequences." But the Velani voice spoke again, desperate and hopeful. "Please, we are dying. Our people have no weapons. We have never made war. The Korthak kill us for the crystals in our world. Please help us." Daeho felt his jaw tighten. These Korthak were bullies, attacking people who couldn't fight back. "Tae-woo, what are our chances in a fight?" he asked quietly. "Honestly, sir, very bad. But we might be able to rescue some people from the planet if we're smart about it." Before anyone could say more, something amazing happened. One of the large Korthak ships began moving toward them. As it got closer, they could see it clearly for the first time. "It's massive," breathed Engineer Choi Min-ha. 10 times bigger than us, at least. The ship stopped near them, and the Korthak voice spoke again. But this time, it sounded curious instead of angry. "Humans, you say? Our computers show that your ship is very small and weak. Yet you came here to fight us? This is either very brave or very stupid." "Tell them we came to help innocent people," Dae-ho said. After Soo-jin translated, there was silence for several minutes. Then the alien voice came back. "We will speak with you face to face. Prepare to be brought aboard our ship. If you try anything hostile, you will die quickly." "Captain," Tae-woo said, "this could be a trap." "Probably," Dae-ho agreed. "But it might also be our only chance to learn what we're dealing with, and maybe to help the Vellani." A bright light surrounded the Resilience, and they felt the ship being pulled toward the massive alien warship. Soon, they were inside a huge bay filled with smaller alien fighters. "Tae-woo, you're with me," Dae-ho said. "Min-ha, keep the ship ready to run if things go wrong. Soo-jin, keep monitoring all communications." The two men walked down the ship's ramp and found themselves face to face with their first aliens. The Korthak were big, much bigger than humans, with thick gray skin and 4 arms. They wore armor and carried weapons that looked very advanced. The largest Korthak stepped forward. "I am Commander Vextal. You are the humans? I am Captain Lee Dae-ho. This is Lieutenant Kim Tae-woo." Vextal looked them up and down, seeming unimpressed. "You are small, weak-looking. Why do you think you can fight us?" "We don't want to fight anyone," Dae-ho said. "We want to help the Vellani." "The Vellani?" Vextal made a sound that might have been laughter. "They are pathetic. No weapons, no armies. They just grow crystals and make art. They are useful slaves, nothing more." "They're people," Tae-woo said firmly. "They have the right to be free." Vextal looked at Tae-woo with interest. "You would fight for them? For creatures you never met before today?" "If we have to," Tae-woo replied. "Fascinating." Vextal turned to another Korthak. "Run a scan on these creatures. I want to know what planet they come from." The other alien worked on a device for a few minutes, then made a shocked sound. "Commander, according to our database, their planet is classified as a Class 12 death world." All the Korthak in the room went quiet. Vextal stared at the two humans with new respect. "A Class 12 death world?" he said slowly. "That's impossible. Nothing intelligent could evolve on such a world." "What's a death world?" Dae-ho asked. Vextal explained that the galaxy rated planets by how dangerous they were. Class 1 worlds were safe and peaceful. Class 12 worlds were so deadly that most species couldn't even survive there. "Your planet," Vextal said, "has extreme weather, natural disasters, deadly animals, poisonous plants, and diseases that would kill most galactic species in hours. How are you still alive?" Dae-ho and Tae-woo looked at each other. They had never thought of Earth as particularly dangerous. It was just home. "We adapt," Dae-ho said simply. Vextal studied them for a long moment. "Perhaps you could be useful to us. The Korthak Empire is always looking for strong warriors. Join us, and we will give you wealth and power." "What about the Vellani?" Tae-woo asked. "What about them? They are weak. In the galaxy, the strong rule the weak. That is natural. Law." Dae-ho felt anger rising in his chest. "No," he said. "That's not natural law. That's just bullying." Vextal's expression changed. "You refuse our offer? We refuse to help you hurt innocent people. Then you will die with them. Vextal gestured to his soldiers. Take them back to their ship, then destroy it. As the Korthak soldiers moved toward them, Taewoo whispered to his captain, "Sir, I don't think they know what humans are really capable of." Daeho smiled grimly. Then maybe it's time they learned. The Korthak soldiers moved to grab Captain Lee Daeho and Lieutenant Kim Tae-woo, but they had made a big mistake. They thought humans were weak because they were smaller than Korthak warriors. Tae-woo moved faster than any Korthak had ever seen, a living being move. In one smooth motion, he grabbed the nearest soldier's weapon and spun around, knocking two others to the ground. Before the aliens could react, he had the weapon pointed at Commander Vextal. "I suggest you let us go," Tae-woo said calmly. The Korthak stared in shock. Their soldier was twice as big as the human, but Tae-woo had moved like lightning. More. Soldiers raised their weapons, but Vextal held up a hand to stop them. "Interesting," the commander said. "Very interesting. You are faster than you look, human." "We're full of surprises," Daeho replied. Alarms suddenly began blaring throughout the ship. A Korthak officer ran up to Vextal. "Commander, the Vellani are attacking our ground forces." Vextal looked confused. "That's impossible. The Vellani don't fight. They don't even have weapons." "Sir, they're using some kind of new technology. Our soldiers are being defeated." Daeho and Tae-woo exchanged glances. They knew what was happening. Engineer Choi Min-ha had been busy. Back on the Resilience, Min-ha had been monitoring all communications between the ship and the planet. When she heard that the captain and Tae-woo were in danger, she had acted quickly. Using the ship's fabrication systems, she had created simple weapons and sent the plans down to the Vellani through their communication system. The weapons were nothing special by human standards, just basic energy rifles and protective gear. But to the Vellani, who had never made anything designed to hurt another living being, they were revolutionary. "You did this," Vextal said, staring at the two humans. "Your people armed the Vellani." "We gave them the tools to defend themselves," Daeho said. "Nothing more." "No species learns to fight that quickly," Vextal argued. "Maybe your people don't," Tae-woo replied. "But you've never met people from a death world before." Dr. Park Soo-jin's voice came through their communicators. "Captain, I'm in contact with the Vellani now. They're asking for our help. The Korthak are sending more soldiers to the planet." "Can we help them?" Daeho asked. "Our Marines are ready, sir," Tae-woo said. 35 soldiers against whatever the Korthak send down." Vextal laughed. 35 soldiers? We have thousands of warriors." "Quality over quantity," Daeho said simply. The commander's expression became serious. "You would really fight us, your small ship against our fleet? If that's what it takes to protect innocent people, yes." Vextal studied them for a long moment. "Very well. We will see what these Deathworld humans can do. But when you fail, your deaths will be slow and painful." Minutes later, Daeho and Tae-woo were back on their ship. The Resilience immediately moved toward the planet, while Korthak fighters followed them. "Status report!" Daeho called out as he reached the bridge. "The Vellani are holding their positions," Soo-jin reported, "but the Korthak are sending down more troops, heavy armor and war machines." "Our Marines are ready to deploy," said Sergeant Bae Hyun-woo over the communicator. He was the leader of the ship's small military unit. "Dr. Shin Yoon-ji is coming with us as a medic." "The Korthak fighters are closing in," warned Yoon Jae-sung from the tactical station. "Min-ha, can you get us through their defenses?" Daeho asked. "I've been studying their ships while you were gone," the engineer replied with a grin. "I think I can surprise them." The Resilience dove toward the planet with several Korthak fighters chasing it. The alien ships fired their weapons, but Min-ha had programmed the ship to move in ways that seemed impossible. It twisted and turned through the air like it was alive. "How is your ship doing that?" Vextal's voice came through the communicator. He sounded amazed. "Human pilots learn to fly in hurricanes and tornadoes," replied pilot Oh Chang-min from the flight controls. "Your fighters move like they're afraid of a little turbulence." The Resilience reached the planet's surface and landed near a Vellani city. The Marines rushed out, led by Sergeant Bae Hyun-woo and Dr. Shin Yun-ji. What they found was chaos. The Vellani were tall, graceful beings who looked like they were made of living crystal. They were beautiful, but they were also terrified. They had never seen war before, and the sight of armed Korthak soldiers had frightened them badly. "We are here to help," Bae Hyun-woo announced as his Marines spread out around the city. A Vellani leader approached them. She was taller than the humans, and her skin seemed to glow with inner light. "I am Veltara. We received your weapon designs, but we do not know how to fight. Our people are not warriors." "That's okay," Dr. Shin Yun-ji said gently. "We'll teach you what you need to know, and we'll stand with you." Just then, the ground began to shake. Massive Korthak war machines were approaching, huge metal beasts with dozens of weapons and thick armor. "Those are siege tanks," Tae-woo said through the communicator from the ship. "Designed to destroy cities." "Can our weapons stop them?" asked one of the Marines. "Not directly," Bae Hyun-woo replied. "But we don't have to stop them. We just have to stop the people inside them." What happened next amazed both the Vellani and the Korthak. The human Marines didn't attack the war machines directly. Instead, they used tactics that seemed insane to everyone watching. They ran directly at the huge tanks, moving so fast that the alien gunners couldn't track them. They jumped onto the machines and used small explosive charges to damage key systems. They fought in ways that used the environment around them, hiding behind rocks, using the city's buildings for cover, turning the Korthak's own weapons against them. Dr. Shin Yun-ji worked to save wounded Vellani while under fire, never stopping even when explosions went off around her. She moved through smoke and poison gas that would have killed most galactic species, treating injuries and giving medical supplies to Vellani healers. "This is impossible," Vextal's voice came through all the communicators. "How are 35 humans defeating 300 of our best soldiers?" Captain Daeho answered from the bridge of his ship. "We told you, Commander, we're from a death world. Every day of our lives we fight just to survive. Fighting you is just another day." The battle continued for hours, but slowly the Korthak forces began to retreat. Their soldiers, trained to fight other civilized species, had no answer for human tactics. The humans fought like the planet itself was trying to kill them, because that's exactly how they had learned to fight. As the sun set on Velanos Prime, the Korthak war machines were burning and their soldiers were fleeing back to their ships. The Vellani stood among their saved city, staring at the humans who had taught them that sometimes good people had to fight to protect what they loved. "We have never seen anything like this," Veltara said to Captain Daeho. "You fight like legends, come to life." Daeho looked up at the Korthak ships still surrounding the planet. "This is just the beginning. They'll be back, and they'll bring more soldiers next time." "Then we will be ready," Veltara said firmly. "You have shown us that. We can defend ourselves. We will not be slaves." Up in space, Commander Vexatal stared down at the planet where his supposedly superior forces had been defeated by a handful of creatures from a world so dangerous that most species couldn't even survive there. "Send a message to the Empire," he ordered. "Tell them we need reinforcements, and tell them we have encountered a new species, a very dangerous species." The war was just beginning. 2 weeks after the first battle, more ships appeared at the edge of the Vellano system. But these weren't Korthak vessels. They were human ships from Earth. Captain Lee Daeho stood on the bridge of the Resilience, watching as the heavy cruiser UES Indomitable took position near his ship. Behind it came 2 more human vessels carrying supplies and reinforcements. "Captain," came a familiar voice over the communicator, "this is Commander Han So-young of the Indomitable. Earth Command sent us as soon as they received your reports. Good. To see you, So-Young, Daeho replied. He had served with Han So-Young years ago before they both became ship captains. What's the situation back home? Mixed reactions, So-Young answered honestly. Some people think we should stay out of alien wars. Others think this is humanity's chance to make friends in the galaxy. But everyone agrees that we can't let innocent people be killed if we can stop it. Dr. Park Soo-jin looked up from her station. Captain, the Korthak fleet is responding to our reinforcements. They're moving into attack formation. How many ships? Asked Lieutenant Kim Tae-woo. 67 combat vessels, reported Lieutenant Yoon Jae-sung. Much larger than anything we brought. Commander Han So-young's voice came through the communicator. Again. Daeho, we're outnumbered 20-1. Are you sure about this? Before Daeho could answer, another voice joined the conversation. It was Commander Vextal from the Korthak flagship. Humans, the alien said, you have made a mistake. Coming here. We have studied your tactics from the ground battle. We are ready for you now. Commander Vextal, Daeho replied. We've made you an offer before. Stop attacking the Vellani and leave this system peacefully. Impossible, Vextal said. The Korthak Empire does not retreat from inferior species. We have brought our greatest warrior to deal with you. Korthax the Breaker wishes to fight your strongest champion in single combat. If he wins, you will leave this system forever. Han So-young's voice was worried. Daeho, single combat means one-on-one fighting. Their champion against ours. I know what it means, Daeho said. Tell Vextal I accept his challenge. Captain, Tae-woo protested. We don't know anything about this Korthax warrior. He could be twice as strong as their regular soldiers. Probably, Daeho agreed. But I have an idea. An hour later, representatives from both fleets met on a small moon between the human and Korthak ships. The place chosen for the combat was a flat area surrounded by cliffs and strange rock formations. Korthax the Breaker was the largest Korthak anyone had ever seen. He was twice as tall as a human and covered in scars from hundreds of battles. His armor was decorated with trophies from defeated enemies, and he carried weapons that looked like they could destroy small buildings. I am Korthax, the giant, warrior announced. I have never been defeated in combat. I have killed warriors from 50 different worlds. Today, I will add humans to that list. Captain Daeho stepped forward. He looked very small next to the massive alien warrior. He carried only a simple sidearm and wore basic protective gear. I am Lee Daeho, he said calmly. And you've made one mistake about this fight. What mistake? Korthax growled. You think this is single combat, but humans are pack hunters. We never fight alone. Before anyone could ask what he meant, Daeho pressed a button on his communicator. Immediately, every human ship in the system opened fire on precise targets around the small moon. The weapons fire wasn't aimed at any people. Instead, it hit specific points in the rock formations around the combat area. Engineer Choi Min-ha had calculated exactly where to hit to cause controlled cave-ins and rock slides. Within seconds, the flat combat area became a maze of fallen rocks, hidden caves, and narrow passages. The terrain had completely changed. What is this? Vextal demanded. This is not honorable single combat. This is human single combat, Daeho replied. My entire crew is part of who I am as a captain. They fight with me even when they're not. Here. Dr. Park Soo-jin's voice came through hidden speakers that Min-ha had placed around the area weeks earlier. Captain, I've analyzed Korthax's armor. The joints are weaker at the knee and elbow connections. Thank you, Soo-jin, Daeho said. Dr. Shin Yoon-ji's voice joined in. His species has poor vision in low-light conditions. The sun will set in 37 minutes. Noted. Lieutenant Yoon Jae-sung added his information. His weapons are powerful but slow to reload. You'll have a 3-second window after each shot. Korthax roared in anger. This is cheating. Face me like a true warrior. This is how humans fight. Deho said, disappearing into the maze of rocks. We use every advantage we can find. We work together, and we never, ever give up. What followed was the strangest battle any Korthak had ever seen. Korthax was stronger and better armed than the human, but Deho fought like the rocks and shadows were his allies. He used the terrain that his crew had created, hiding in caves and jumping from rock to rock. When Korthax fired his powerful weapons, Deho was never where the alien expected him to be. Minha had hidden supply caches around the area, so Deho always had fresh weapons and equipment when he needed them. Sujin provided constant updates on Korthax's movements using sensors hidden in the rocks. Sergeant Bae Hyun-woo's voice came through the speakers. "Captain, he's getting tired. His movement patterns are becoming predictable." "I see it," Deho replied, dodging another blast from Korthax's weapon. As the sun began to set, the battle changed. Korthax couldn't see well in the dim light, but humans had evolved to hunt at dawn and dusk. Deho moved through the shadows like a ghost. "Where are you, coward?" Korthax bellowed. "Fight me face to face." "I am fighting you." Deho's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "This is what real combat looks like. Not some ceremonial duel, but a fight for survival." The end came suddenly. Korthax, frustrated and exhausted, made a mistake. He charged toward what he thought was Deho's hiding place, but it was a trap. The human captain had used explosives to weaken a rock formation above the alien warrior. When Korthax triggered the trap, tons of stone fell on him. He wasn't killed, his armor was too strong for that, but he was pinned and helpless. Deho emerged from the shadows and stood over the defeated warrior. "Do you yield?" Korthax stared up at him in amazement. How did you defeat me? I am the strongest warrior in the galaxy." "No," Deho said. "You're the strongest individual fighter, but humans don't believe in fighting alone. My crew defeated you just as much as I did. That's what makes us dangerous." Commander Vextal's voice came over the communicators, and for the first time, he sounded uncertain. "The combat is finished. But this was not single combat as we understand it. This was single combat as humans understand it," Commander Han So-young replied from her ship. "Your champion fought our captain. Your champion lost. But he used help from his crew?" "Of course he did," came a new voice. "It was young Velnan, one of the Vellani who had learned to speak human language. That is what the humans taught us. No one fights alone. Everyone helps everyone else." The Korthak fleet remained silent for a long time. Finally, Vextal spoke again. We do not understand this kind of fighting. Individual strength has always been most important to us." "That's why you keep losing," Deho said, helping Korthax out from under the fallen rocks. The alien warrior was injured but not seriously hurt. You fight as individuals, even when you're in groups. Humans fight as a team, even when we're alone. As they returned to their ships, Korthax walked beside Deho. The huge warrior seemed confused by everything that had happened. "Your people," Korthax said slowly. "You truly never abandon each other?" "Never," Deho replied. "That's not who we are." For the first time in his life, the greatest warrior in the Korthak Empire began to wonder if strength was really about how hard you could hit, or if it was about how many people would stand with you when things got difficult. Back on the Korthak flagship, Commander Vextal stared at the human ships and tried to understand what he had just witnessed. His entire understanding of warfare had just been turned upside down by creatures from a world so dangerous that it had taught them to fight as one organism. "Sir," one of his officers said quietly, "what are your orders?" Vextal was quiet for a very long time. "Send a message to the Empire," he finally said. "Tell them we need to reconsider our approach to these humans." 6 months later, the galaxy was a very different place. News of the human victory at Velanos Prime had spread to every civilized world, and reactions were mixed. Admiral Ko Dong-jun stood in the conference room of Earth's newest space station, looking out at representatives from dozens of alien species. Some looked curious, others seemed afraid, and a few appeared openly hostile. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings," Admiral Ko began, "we are here today to discuss the future of relations between humanity and the galactic community." A tall, thin alien with blue skin raised one of its 4 hands. "Admiral, our species has reviewed the reports from Velanos Prime. Your people's methods of warfare are disturbing." "How so?" asked President Lim Nari, Earth's elected leader, who sat next to the Admiral. "You fight without honor," said another alien, this one covered in what looked like metal scales. "You use tricks and deception. You gang up on single opponents." Admiral Ko smiled. "We call that tactics and teamwork." "But it's not fair," protested a third alien. "War isn't supposed to be fair," said Commander Han So-young from her position near the wall. "War is supposed to end as quickly as possible, with as few casualties as possible." Dr. Park Soo-jin, now Earth's chief expert on alien relations, stepped forward. "Honored delegates, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Humans don't enjoy fighting. We fight to protect people who can't protect themselves. Like the Villani," added a new voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned to see Veltara, the Villani leader, entering with several of her people. "The humans saved our entire species from slavery and death." Behind the Villani came an even bigger surprise. Korthax, the Breaker, the former champion of the Korthak Empire, walked into the room. But instead of his war armor, he wore simple clothes and carried no weapons. "The humans taught me something," the massive warrior said in his deep voice. "They taught me that real strength comes from protecting others, not from conquering them." "Admiral," Ko nodded to both groups, "what Korthax says is true. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our ability to fight. It's our refusal to abandon people who need help." A small, mouse-like alien near the front spoke up in a squeaky voice. "But your planet is so dangerous. How can you think about helping others when your own world tries to kill you every day?" Captain Lee Daeho, who had been promoted after the Velanos incident, answered that question. "That's exactly why we help others. Earth taught us that life is precious because it's fragile. Every person, human or alien, matters." "Your world has hurricanes that can destroy cities," said another delegate. "Earthquakes that split the ground. Open. Diseases that kill without warning. Predators that hunt in packs. How do you survive?" "Together," said Engineer Choi Min-ha simply. "Humans learned long ago that none of us can survive alone. So we take care of each other." Dr. Shin Yoonji stepped forward. "In human culture, the greatest heroes aren't the strongest fighters. They're the people who save others. The medics who run into danger to help the wounded, the teachers who make sure children learn to survive, the engineers who build safe shelters." "But you're so violent," protested one of the aliens. "Your species has fought wars for thousands of years." President Lim Nari's expression became serious. "Yes, we have. And that's exactly why we know how terrible war is. We've learned that fighting should only be used to protect innocent people. The humans could have conquered our world easily, after defeating the Korthak," Veltara said. "Instead, they helped us rebuild. They shared their technology freely. They asked for nothing in return." Korthax nodded his massive head. "My people respected only strength. The humans showed us that. There are different kinds of strength. The strength to help instead of hurt. The strength to build instead of destroy." A holographic display activated in the center of the room, showing a map of local space. Admiral Ko pointed to several star systems. "In the past 6 months," he said, "humanity has received 43 distress calls from different species. Pirates, attacking trade ships. Slavers kidnapping entire populations. natural disasters threatening whole worlds. In every case, we've sent help. And in every case, added Captain Deho, we've worked with the local people to solve their problems. We don't impose our will on anyone. We just offer to help. But why? Asked the mouse-like alien. What do you gain from this? We gain friends, President Limnari said simply. We gain the knowledge that innocent people are safe. We gain the satisfaction of using our abilities to make the galaxy a better place. Lieutenant Yoon Jae-sung, now promoted to commander, stepped forward with a data pad. The interesting thing is that our Death World background makes us uniquely suited to help other species. We can survive in environments that would kill most galactic citizens. We can adapt quickly to new situations. And we never give up, even when things seem hopeless. Like when the Crystalline Collective's homeworld was threatened by solar flares, said Dr. Park Soo-jin. No other species could survive the radiation levels, but human crews were able to install protective shields around their cities. Or when the peaceful garden worlds were attacked by space pirates, added Commander Han So-young. The garden people are so gentle they couldn't even imagine violence. Human marines stopped the pirates without harming any civilians. One of the more hostile-looking aliens, covered in spikes and wearing dark armor, spoke up. What about species that don't want your help? What if we prefer to handle our own problems? Then we leave you alone, Admiral Ko said immediately. We never force our help on anyone. We only respond to calls for assistance. But what if those calls come from your enemies? The spiky alien pressed. Ko exchanged glances with President Limnari. If you called for help and your people were in danger, we would help you too. That's who humans are. The spiky alien stared at him for a long moment, then sat back without another word. Veltara stood up. Honored delegates, before the humans came, my people were going to die. All of us. Our children, our elders, our artists and scientists, everyone. The humans saved us not because they had to, but because they chose to. How is that not worthy of respect? The galaxy has rules, said the blue-skinned alien from earlier. The strong rule the weak. Resources go to whoever can take them. That's natural law. No, said Korthax firmly. That's not natural law. That's just selfishness. Natural law is that the strong protect the weak. The humans showed me that. Young Velnan, who had learned to speak perfect human language, stepped forward. The humans taught us something important. They taught us that being different doesn't make us enemies. My people look different from humans. We think differently. We live differently. But the humans saw past all that to the fact that we're people, just like them. Admiral Ko walked to the center of the room. Delegates, humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to conquer anyone or take anyone's resources. We want to be part of a galactic community where everyone looks out for everyone else. Like a pack, said Commander Han So-young with a smile. Humans are pack animals. Our pack just got bigger, that's all. Much bigger, added Captain Deho, looking around the room at all the different alien species. Big enough to include anyone. Who wants to be part of it? President Limnari stood up. We're proposing the creation of the Mutual Defense Alliance. Any species that joins agrees to help defend any other member species that calls for aid. No one rules over anyone else. Everyone contributes what they can. Everyone gets help when they need it. And if we refuse? Asked the spiky alien. Then, you refuse, Ko said with a shrug. We won't force anyone to join, but the offer will always be there if you change your mind. The room was quiet for several minutes as the alien delegates considered this proposal. Finally, the mouse-like alien spoke up. My people would like to join this alliance. We are small and weak, but we are excellent at growing food and making medicines. We would be honored to help feed and heal the defenders of the innocent. The Crystalline Collective also wishes to join, said another delegate. Our crystal technology could be very useful for communications and energy storage. One by one, more species announced their interest in joining the alliance. Not all of them. Some were still suspicious of human motives, but many were willing to try something new. As the meeting ended, Korthax approached Captain Deho. Human, the big warrior said quietly. My people still don't fully understand your ways, but I am beginning to. You fight not because you love war, but because you love peace. You are strong not because you can destroy, but because you choose to protect. Deho nodded. You're learning, my friend. Will you teach me more? I want to understand this pack thinking. Of course, Deho said. That's what friends do. Later that night, Admiral Ko stood on the observation deck of the space station, looking out at the ships from dozens of different worlds. Tomorrow, those ships would scatter across the galaxy, carrying the message that no one had to face danger alone anymore. President Lim Nari joined him at the window. Do you think it will work, Dongjun? This alliance of ours? I think, Ko said slowly, that the galaxy is about to learn what humans learned long ago on the plains of Africa. When the pack stands together, nothing can defeat it. In the distance, a new ship appeared, small and damaged, broadcasting a distress signal in a language no one had heard before.